Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Wakelet Community webinar, which is all around going back to school. So we know a lot of you are either in the process of going back, you're going back in the next coming weeks, or you've already started. And we want to invite two of our very special friends and ambassadors to join us to share their tips and tricks, not just on Wakelet, but on general tips and advice as well. So this is going to be a really fun one. Around 45 minutes to an hour, you will learn a lot about how you can make that transition to your new school life, the new school year, as smooth as possible, especially because this year will probably be like no other. I know we said that last year and the year before, but the school system, the educational landscape is changing every single day, every single year. So this one will hopefully give you some tips that you can take in to the next few weeks of your school. And we've got some amazing guests, haven't we, Amy?
Yes, we've got two amazing educators joining us, EdTech specialists. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them, but yeah, I'd love to bring them on. Jenallee, jumping on to share with you lots of exciting ways to use Wakelet in the new school year. So if we'll pop you back on screen and you can guys and say hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you both?
We're great. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. We're so excited to hear from you, and we know the community are as well. We were all just saying back stage as well that it's so lovely to see so many of you from all over. I mean, we're always blown away, aren't we, seeing people from all over the world joining us. We saw Antoinette there from Barbados, people from Croatia, Georgia there as well. So it's so lovely to see lots of you guys joining us. But yeah, also Jenallee joining us. Any shout outs or anything like that to get us started?
We have some Texas friends in the house. We see some of our local friends, so that's always fun, and some friends in our Microsoft community. So it's great to see familiar names pop up, but there are so many from all over. I just love that we are from so many different time zones that everyone takes time out. And so that just really is kudos to you all for really engaging with the community and getting everyone interested to just learn more.
And I just love the global view that Wakelet brings. Like, I love learning from our friends in Tunisia and from Poland and from Spain. I mean, it makes, education so much more rich. So thank you guys for connecting us.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so awesome to see. We love these webinars because in the chat, please, and in the comments there, please share your ideas as we go along. React, tell us what you like, what you don't like, anything like that. Use this time to share all your comments and things like that. We love to see them and all the ideas being shared. So yeah, I think we're going to pass over to Jenallee now.
All right, great. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I think we're going to make sure our presentation is shared.
All right, let's see if it's up on the screen real quick.
We're on a time delay. We're watching the chat over here just to
make sure you can see that. Yay! Yes. Okay, good.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Jenny Long.
And I'm Celie Clark. And we are Jenallee.
We are instructional technologists with Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District, which is a little bit north of Fort Worth, Texas. So we've got some Texas friends in the house, so we're excited about that. But we love being able to work with students and educators across the world. Like, we just feel like we have the best job ever because we get to go in classrooms. We were in a classroom this morning, getting students logged in to their teams and getting a class notebook pulled down. So we just love that opportunity to be able to still co-teach and present and to connect with educators across the world. So that really just excites us and just keeps us going because you all motivate us. And right now in this time of going back to school, it's hard, but it's also an exciting time. So we want to share some ways that you can connect with us. So we have a bit.ly link there, and it has more than is here on the screen. So we are on every social media platform, but you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
I've been practicing my whoa.
Yep, she's got
all kinds of good moves. Not really. There's no dancing, okay? They are just tech tutorials.
We need to get back to it. We've been just so busy with summer and just taking some time with family, but we are ready to get back on track and get producing some content. And so we're so excited about this year. But we also have a YouTube show where we, interview teachers and we make quick little tip videos. So again, we're going to need to get back to that. So we've been kind of on a little break, but we've also been working on a big project. So we'll share more with you as we go along. But we have a book coming out this fall. So things that we'll be sharing with you today will be in our book. So we're excited to get that in the hands of teachers everywhere to hopefully help you learn more about Wakelet and other applications as you're using in your classroom. So connect with us. We'd love to see some shout outs on Twitter and just things that you do, collections that you make. Follow us on Wakelet, and we would love to see the collections that you create for your students during this time. So we're going to share with you some things about getting back to school. Some of you may have already started school. Here in our district, we started on this Monday, this past Monday.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Just went back.
Got a lot going on, but we, our teachers and
Alexa, Siri also wants to start back to school.
we started on Monday, and our teachers have just been working so hard, and we are all in person here in our district. And I know there's different things, all across, some remote situations still going on. So everything that we want to share today, we want to just talk, and I think we're going to talk a little bit at the end as well about those different situations and how you can use Wakelet. And no matter what your classroom looks like, remote, hybrid, in person, Wakelet is just the solution for all of those. So we want to quickly talk to you about these 5 key components, and we're going to go in more depth, and then we are going to go into Wakelet and kind of show you some of the collections that we have. But just onboarding new staff, meeting the teacher, that's a big hot topic right now, and how you can use Wakelet for that. A classroom space, HYPERDOCS and lessons as you're creating for your students, and then tutorials, because we all love tutorials because that's how we learn in quick, fast little bursts of information.
All right, let's get started. We first want to start with onboarding new staff. So as Jenny mentioned, we are instructional technologists here in Eagle Mountain, and my goodness, anytime we have new teachers come in, immediately the first thing we think is, oh, what do they need to know? Like, what do we need to show them? What do we need to teach them? What do we need to log into? What do we need to bring down and save to our computers? What do we need to set up? And so there's a lot of pieces and moving pieces that happen when someone is hired into our district. We have, I'm not quite sure how many staff we have.
3,000.
Yeah, we have 21,000 students. And so each year is a new hurdle of getting people onboarded with our systems. And one of the things that we've started doing this year, we've just begun the process, but we wanted to share it with you guys, is creating a Wakelet system for onboarding our staff. And so some of the things that we definitely want to include in this Wakelet is our handbook, right? We want our teachers to know that they can just go to our Wakelet and quickly find their handbook for teachers and the handbook for our students. So these are like the rules and the policies across our whole district. And it's a fast and easy way to find them all in one spot. We also want to add technology information. A lot of times when teachers come in or principals come in, they don't know where things are. Like, where's our Facebook page, our Twitter handle? How do I log into these systems and how do I get to them? Where is our staff notebook that we have for our campus? So all of that is involved with our technology section.
In thinking about as our role as instructional coaches and working with teachers, think from, if you're a teacher, you can use this same model with your students. And we're going to show you from the teacher side too. But, we come at it from a little different perspective because we teach teachers, but we also help teachers build these resources for their students. So, all of these things could be, your student information as well. But one thing we love about when you have a new staff is team building. How are you going to build that camaraderie between your staff members, but also your students? So we love the idea of a collaborative Wakelet where maybe your staff could add pictures of what they've done over the summer, or your students could add pictures of things and places that they went and visited over the summer, or they can add in, just little ideas and, just ways to collaborate and get to know each other. We love with our staff, we love to share your favorite Sonic drink or our favorite color, because there's always those times when we want to go and, give someone an extra little treat, or we know that, Celie loves diet cranberry limeade, so I'm going to go buy her a drink, or her favorite color is purple. So if I'm out shopping, I can buy those specific things. So we love the team building aspect and the collaborative piece that Wakelet offers. And we all love a good Q&A section. So I love being able to just go here and find resources and ideas that I might be looking for.
Going back to that team building, I've loved what one of our assistant principals has done here. We're opening a new elementary campus, and the assistant principal has made a card for every single teacher. So she sent out a form and we all filled out the information about who we were, what we enjoy doing, our background, our information. And then she took that and made a cute graphic for each teacher. And I think that would be such a great spot to place it in a Wakelet where you could easily go in and be like, who is that teacher? And find their face and be able to connect with them and understand who they are and a little bit of information about them. So it's a great place to have even a roster of your staff and quickly be able to find people.
And even the same for students. So you can do the same thing and make a little information card for your students. So we have some good templates we're going to share with you on that too as well. We also want to share with you ideas for Meet the Teacher. So as you are all having open houses and Meet the Teacher night, Slee made an amazing PowerPoint, and I have it in here for you as a template.
Jenny, you're the curation queen. I told you, James, that's what she is. She's so good.
I was going to text you one night, and I was like, no, I can find it. I can find it. I dug through all the places. But there is a PowerPoint that she made, and it's so cute, with just little places that you can insert just different things about you as a teacher. So with Wakelet, it's great because you could put that PowerPoint in there. You could put the slides of the PowerPoint as images. You can put a Flipgrid Shorts video introducing yourself and being authentic. Like, kids love to hear your voice. I think that's really important. So anytime you can use Flipgrid and bring that piece in, that's going to make that connection a little bit stronger.
And right now, like we mentioned, we don't, school across the world is different everywhere. So some are all online. Some are doing, 2 days in person, 3 days online. Some are face-to-face like we are all the time. And one thing that we have learned from remote learning is that making connections with our students is of top priority, and really building those relationships, especially if we're online and remote. But it's brought that back to the forefront of our vision as far as going into the classroom. And so, having a Wakelet with ways to connect is vital and important for us and our students, and for us to be able to learn together. Mm-hmm. So definitely take time to create a Meet the Teacher Wakelet.
Yes, definitely. And we're going to show you some examples.
Mm-hmm. And since we're talking, I think it's in the examples. We'll show you.
All right, the next idea that we want to share with you is a classroom space. So what we're going to share with you today is a space that we created. And as we've been building collections, we always go back to a space. We weren't using spaces as much at the beginning when they first came out, but now every time we do something, we're like, let's make a space for that. So it's so cool because Wakelet has just so many levels of organization that we'll create collections and then put them in the spaces and then, create other collections inside of collections. Like, it's just so neat how you can build those layers. But spaces are so valuable for just different ways that you could put all your newsletters in a space. You could put all of your just back to school stuff in a space, your lesson plan ideas in a space. So we're going to show you how we've created our space for this presentation as well.
We love the idea of creating one space as your classroom space. So you could share that link with your students and they know they could get anything they need for your classroom inside that space, because you can't put anything you need to inside of a Wakelet. So it's a great way to add your connections, putting in your classroom essentials like your syllabus, your rules and procedures. And this is great even for parents to be able to see. So then they know exactly all the rules, all the procedures, everything you need for your classroom. Your lessons, you can put your HYPERDOCS in here, or any lesson cycle that you want. And students know, if I go to the space, I go to the lessons collection, and that's where they are. You can put a parking lot, exit tickets, and even different tutorials, especially if you teach 4th grade math in America. Sorry, that's like the hardest grade ever, I think. I needed to watch every YouTube video possible for 4th grade math to be able to help my son at home. So it's a great way to put in little tutorial videos for parents and students to use anytime they need as well.
Great. We also want to share with you another idea of how you can use HYPERDOCS. So if you're not familiar with HYPERDOCS, we'll also put a link in here for you to learn a little bit more. But HYPERDOCS is just really your lesson cycle and really engaging your students and allowing them to explore. So there's different steps that you can go through, and we love creating our HYPERDOC within a Wakelet.
If you guys haven't seen HYPERDOCS, we definitely suggest that you go to hyperdocs.co and check out some of the templates there. However, we've taken that template and we modified it and put it right into Wakelet. And the reason we did that is because, again, like we mentioned before, Wakelet allows you to add any resource, anything you need to into that. So it makes our lesson cycle fluid, and it makes it interactive, and and accessible to all of our students. And so that's one of the things we really like about using Wakelet for HYPERDOCS.
And we also are a Microsoft district, so we aren't going to get into this today, but there are so many ways that you can bring your Wakelet collections into Teams, and we love that. So we use Teams as our platform in elementary, and we share a little bit more of that in our book of how you can integrate Wakelet into Teams and how your students can use that hub of learning as Microsoft Teams and bring in all of these different pieces that we're sharing. So we love that Wakelet integrates with Microsoft in that way. All right, we also want to share with you tutorials.
I was like, I don't remember.
What's next? So we love using Wakelet. We are so excited about this and how you can build a Wakelet collection for tutorials. So tutorials in the way that if you're teaching your students how to do something, how to get into their curriculum, maybe it's an online curriculum resource that you're sharing with them. Or the big thing that really encouraged us to start using this was we were having parents view, let's say, a spelling bee. And we were using Microsoft Teams to broadcast that spelling bee from school. So we made step-by-step instructions in a Wakelet for parents to join that event. So just any event you might have on campus that now we all know how to use Zoom and Teams and all these StreamYard and Google, all these Google Meet, all these different ways. Before, 2 years ago, not many people as much used Zoom and all these different platforms. So creating those tutorial steps in a Wakelet, it makes it really easy for your parents to join in.
I also loved using it for anchor charts. So one of the things, especially being remote, hybrid, in person, anchor charts, at least here in Texas and in our realm, are super important for us to be able to have our students reference them anytime they need. So it helps them recall information and knowledge on how to do something. And not having that at their fingertips is difficult. So creating a Wakelet with images and graphics or even anchor charts made in the Wakelet is great for students to quickly grab that information and have it at their fingertips at home, wherever in the world they are learning from. And so that really is a key way to connect them back to their learning and making it accessible for them.
All right. We also love being able to, you can make a video playlist. We've done this with our teachers a lot. We'll say, just take your YouTube videos or any videos that you have out there and just make a curated list of those videos within Wakelet. And then you share. And the thing that we constantly come back to every time, we're like, with Wakelet, you share one link. So you can put all the stuff in there and build it beautifully, however you want, with whatever organizational piece you want, and then you just share that one link. So, because you're like, oh, I need to give them this and I need to give them this, but that's one link, and then you can share it with a QR code, or you can even, send it through Remind, or however, all the different sharing options that it offers, but it's only that one link. So that's the part that's better. Like so amazing.
The other thing we love is direct teaching notes. So a lot of you may be using virtual whiteboards right now. So like Microsoft Whiteboard or Whiteboard.chat. I'm trying to think about the other different ones. So you may be using some form of whiteboard to do direct teaching notes with. So you may be lecturing and writing on these whiteboards, and then you have to share that link with your students, and they've got a million different links to keep up with. Like Jenny mentioned, putting it inside of a Wakelet makes it fast and easy, and it's one link they go to, and they're able to get to all of their resources that they need for class.
And we did this last year when we were going remote. Our district created an entire Wakelet collection of all of the things that everyone would need to know about how to get to district resources, and all how to get to Teams and how to get to Canvas. So our district was really, really good about creating those and then sharing those out with parents. So just think as you're creating collections for just information to share with your community, Wakelet is a great place for that. All right, another thing we want to share is
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go into our Wakelet space, and we want to share with you how we've organized some of these resources.
And I think Wakelet's going to throw the link in the chat for you guys, so that way you can access it simultaneously.
So this is a space, and what we love about this part of it is you're looking at the dashboard. So even just on your own personal profile, hopefully you are utilizing that profile piece where you can organize all the different categories, and then you can share out this. And I love that you can personalize it also. So we call this one Jenallee BTS, back to school. But you can personalize your pictures and do all of that on there. And then as you scroll down, you're going to see that the collections are organized into categories on the left-hand side. So then, it looks a little more organized. So you're seeing the front end instead of the back end here. We also love using emojis when we name things. So we love the emoji piece that you can kind of put in there to personalize it a little bit more.
Okay, this is Jenny's favorite Windows 10 tip. So I'm not going to steal it from her. I'm just going to prompt her. Jenny, how do you get emojis typed into these titles?
Okay, so we are using a Windows machine. So we have, we're going to press the Windows button and the period. And when you do that, you're going to get an emoji keyboard pop up. You should do it.
Oh, sure. Would you like for me to show you real quick?
Oh, wait, I was just going to say pull up the keyboard.
Oh, well, there we go.
There you go.
You ready? So I'm going to click the Windows icon and period. Oh, there.
So then that's how you can go in and add your emojis. And we put emojis in everything. So we're a little addicted to emojis, but super fun. So hopefully you guys probably knew that tip, but if not, definitely have some fun with emojis. So you can see here what we've organized. We've organized by first days. So these are the things we're going to kind of show you what we've done here with getting started. And then we have ideas and some templates that we've provided for you, and then some resources for you to kind of go back and find some of these ideas later.
I also just want to bring up that as you click into these, I love how it takes it and makes it simplified on the screen. So you don't see our entire, all of our collections that are inside this space. It really makes it streamlined and easy to view as you click on these topics. So thanks, Wakelet, for that.
All right, so let's go to Meet the Teacher real quick. So we're going to jump into this Meet the Teacher one. So as you're starting back to school, first off, I would create a Meet the Teacher Wakelet. So how are my students going to get to know me? So you could put a little Flipgrid Shorts video up here at the beginning, or you could even put a little description of you. I think ours was below, but Celie made this beautiful template in Canva. We're also going to give you a template link here. We'll show you where all the templates are. They're in our profile under the template section.
Yes. So if you have that link, you can go to templates and you'll see all of the templates for these.
But we love Canva. And if you aren't using Canva, I'm going to throw the link in the chat too.
Yes.
But canva.com/education. If you are a teacher, you just use your school email or your personal email, but you do have to sometimes show identification like a badge or some way that they identify you as an educator, and you get all the premium features of Canva for free. So we love creating our images, even our Wakelet headers and cover images. We create all those in Canva.
And this Meet the Teacher one was already made. I just searched for it in Canva and it popped right up. All I did was add our images and type in our information. I rearranged it a little bit because I wanted to have multiple columns. But our whole team did this for all of our schools so we could send it out and they know who we are, they know what we can help them with, and they know kind of what our skills are. So it was a fun way to let them meet us. The same for you as a classroom teacher. It's a great way for your students to get to know you and the parents as well.
And even giving your students, like we were saying, a page like this so that they can create one all about them. And then you could add that to a collaborative space where they can get to know each other.
I love that.
So a little information about you, whether it's a graphic, text. So what we also love about Wakelet is that it works so well with Microsoft. And one of our favorite features is Immersive Reader. And we know you're probably aware of that. We won't go into too much detail, but
we have to show it. I think we show it at everything that we do.
For a second,
okay. I will go fast.
So when you click that book, hopefully you guys have seen Immersive Reader, but it definitely really levels that playing field for all of your students so that they have the content accessible to them in whatever way they need.
So you can click play, it'll read it to them. I'm just
Jenny Long and Sally.
So it highlights it as it reads. You can speed it up, slow it down. You can customize it by text size. You can make it larger, smaller. The fonts, there are different fonts you can choose, and even background colors. So if you need that colored overlay for dyslexia students, it's there.
Side note, Celie and I both have children of our own with dyslexia, so this is something
that's why it's important to us.
About. So it's been very helpful for them.
You can do syllables. You can highlight parts of speech as well. But our favorite over here is this last tab, the reading preferences. You can do a line focus where it will zoom in for them as they read. You can also have a picture dictionary. I'll let you kind of chime in because I know I don't want to steal it all because it's so much fun.
We love the picture dictionary. Yes. It's created with Boardmaker. So there are certain, not all images that will show when you kind of hover over one of the words. So we love that it gives those readers that visual representation so they can kind of make that correlation between the word and the picture. And then it will also read it to you with the little speaker there. And then you can also translate the entire document or just words at a time in over 80 different languages. So there are so many languages, and it will read in over like 65 different languages. So not all of them will be read, but there are a ton of languages.
You can do it by word, where I just click on it and there's the Chinese translation, and it will even read it to me. Or I could do it by document, and it will do the entire document and very fast into that language, and it will read it to me in that language as well. I know, it's so cool.
All right. So hopefully you know about Immersive Reader, but it is in so many different applications. So please keep your eye out for the book and the speaker. And we love that Wakelet added in the emoji response too, so that you can thumb up and you can kind of give that feedback. And I think that's a huge piece too, because we love that feedback from our students and our participants. So back to this collection here, we have put in text. Then we also have, how can you connect with me? I'm your teacher. How can you connect? We put our bit.ly in here. This is a way that you can connect with us on all the social platforms. And then Wakelet has a million templates. So hopefully you are utilizing Wakelet's templates that they've offered you. So they have a Meet the Teacher template. So we put that in here as well. And I've put the templates in another place for you too. You can't help but miss the templates in this from this presentation.
But, I think that's what makes these applications so great for us as educators, because we need to be able to make content fast. And that's what Wakelet has done with templates. You can get in, you can make anything you need to, newsletters, Meet the Teacher. They had lesson plans, all kinds of great ways for you to utilize Wakelet and quickly. So thank you guys for doing that, because time is short for teachers.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go back to our area here. And now we have one that says, hey friends, we love the GIF add-in, where you can add that in as your cover there as well.
And I don't have to save it. It automatically is there. So I can just click GIFs and find one. But here's a great way for you to connect with your students. Like we mentioned before, connecting right now is super important. Oh, it's okay. It's super important for us to be able to connect with our students no matter where we are. And one thing, I don't know if you guys have seen it on Twitter, but it's been going around like wildfire. But Flipgrid has lots of people have been sharing different ways to use Flipgrid to connect. And one of our favorites is how to pronounce your name. One of the things that we want to make sure that we know how to do with our students is say their name.
I mean, that's hard.
It's who you are.
I butcher names all the time.
Well, and as a person with a name that is weird, it's hard to say sometimes. And so I'm just used to people calling me Sally or Sully, all kinds of weird things, which is fine. But being able to say my name, I know you know me when you say Sully. And we say that all the time. Like if someone says, oh, hey, Sally, we know they might have seen me or, see my stuff, but they don't know me. And so that's important as, a human being, for you to be able to know my name.
We really encourage you to check out Flipgrid and maybe make a topic for your students to go in there and say their name. And then that will allow you to go back at night and rehearse and say over and over so that you know that you're saying it right.
Our friend Scott, he shared one as well where he has the parents introduce their child to the teacher. I think that's such a great way too.
Really building that community for sure.
And Jenny, actually, when she was a teacher in the classroom, would have parents write letters to her. It's kind of the same thing. It's parents explaining to you who their child is and what they love about them and what their strengths are. So I think it's a video piece.
Yes. Like I would have loved to have seen when I was reading those letters, that actual hearing the voice and seeing that relationship between the child and the parent. So I think that's a great idea. So definitely use Flipgrid to pull in something like that. And then let your students share. We have a template here from Canva, again, that has a slide that is just a template where your students can use that and then turn it into you. If you're using Teams or Google Classroom or whatever it is, they can then turn that assignment into you.
And this is kind of like a PowerPoint, essentially, so they can add a slide about them. And so it collects all of them on the side, so you can go in and see all of the students, and students can see each other. If you want it to be individual, though, here's a template from Canva that's just an individual all about me page that students can use. Sure.
Get it big so we can see. There are so many templates in Canva. So if you start searching in there, you'll just be amazed at everything that you can find in there. So all kinds of things. I love this one. So the students can you can print it or they can use it digitally and ink on it, whatever you're using in your classroom.
Our favorite is to actually download them as images and put them in our OneNote class notebooks. And then set it as a background, and students can draw on them. They can add voice, context. They can, I mean, it really makes it interactive. So,
All right, let's go to the next collection.
you got it.
All
Oops. Yeah, I went to the wrong one. Sorry, guys.
All right, this one is welcoming new teachers. So this is in our role as instructional coaches. Again, this is how we would kind of bring in our new teachers and, things that they're doing at the beginning of the year to get set up. So, you could even do something like this with your students. And if you had older students, I think this especially, if they had email or, I did this with my daughter. She's a junior. She's 16. Yes, 16.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's sending an email and I said, well, you need to set up your signature. So, what are things we want our students to know at the beginning of the year? If they're using devices, let's make sure we set our defaults. Let's make sure we have an email signature set up in our email, however they're communicating. Same thing with us. We would teach our teachers to do this. But you can do the same with your students. Maybe you want them to share their calendar with you or share their calendar with their principal. So just some things that as you're teaching your students or other educators, just kind of some tips. So as we go into, we call them Tech Tuesdays, where we go into a school and we stay there all day and teachers come to us on rotations and we work with them and teach them these things. So we're going to use this once we start those next week, and they'll be just going through each of these things as like a little checklist to make sure that they are all set and ready for the year.
Mm-hmm. It's been real. This is the part we were saying as we were starting the year again. Every year we're like, okay, what do we need to teach our new teachers? And it's so much better when we have a Wakelet ready to go that we can just walk through and we know exactly what we're sharing. And then they get to keep it and be able to reference it anytime they need to. Because things happen where they need their computers re-imaged or they get a new computer. So it's definitely a great way to always know what we need to be sharing and have it shared with everyone.
All right, let's go back.
I'm not going to click that one. There we go.
The next section that we want to share with you is just some ideas. So definitely like just classroom essentials and newsletters are just good things to start off the year with.
Mm-hmm. So like in classroom essentials, like sharing your policies and procedures. We love putting it in a Wakelet, especially sharing it even with our parents. So that way they understand what the expectations are in our classrooms. And so you can put in graphics.
Wait, that's so cute. Where did you get that little graphic?
Well, I bet you guys can guess. I made it in Canva. So again, I downloaded it as a GIF and I inserted it into our Wakelet and it looks great.
And it just adds that little bit of personalization with the, animation to it and everything. And it's so cute. Slee does this stuff in her sleep. Like it takes her 5 seconds.
Well, and then I forget that I did it and Jenny finds it and then she curates it and builds it beautifully inside these Wakelets. So you need another great way is put in your handbook. So that way the students don't have to go and peruse and try and find, where was that? Where was the grading policy? Where do I find the, whatever it might be. So it's a great way to, again, have everything in one spot with a link. And then of course you can insert your syllabus. It really does make it to where you can make your classroom virtual and visual everywhere.
Yeah, like your tutorial hours. If you're teaching older students or even younger students, like when am I available for tutoring? So these are things that you want to put in. All about my classroom, and things like that. So we've got, meet the teacher, which you might include in your meet the teacher also, but just think of the different ways that you can put together information then you can share with your students and your parents. Like as a parent, I would love to have a Wakelet collection come to me that has everything I need to know about the teacher and about how my child is going to learn. So I love that. Newsletters, there are so many great templates out there for newsletters. So newsletters is a great place, and here is the newsletter template that Wakelet has available. So this is a collection of templates that you can go in and just copy and start using. So
I love them. Oh my goodness, I think it's such a great addition. So thank you guys for curating this and putting it together.
So you just, and notice the emojis in there. So we all love the emojis, and it just really kind of personalizes what the content is that you're putting into this collection. So newsletters, we have lots of teachers that use Wakelet for their newsletters, and then they just share out that link, and then you can build them in a space. However you want to get creative with your building and organizing. We used to, before spaces came along, we would take our collections and put them in another collection, and we call that a tidal wave. So it's like lots of collections together. It's not just a wave, but it's a tidal wave. So just get creative with your newsletters and use these templates for sure. And these are just a couple examples of some of our newsletters that we've put in there. All right, so now we're at the template section. So we have given you the Wakelet one has just links to all of the Wakelet templates. And I know that that has been put into the chat for you guys as well. But on the Jenallee one, there are just a few of our favorites that we put in here. This is the PowerPoint I was telling you about that I found that Celie made. It's so cute.
Y'all, I found how to make myself into a GIF. So you can imagine how much fun I had.
Goodness.
I was like giving high fives and thumbs ups and
It was the best.
waving.
And everybody's like, how did you do that? Teach us. So that was last year.
Yeah, I think
all the
so.
years
Yeah,
are
I
running
don't know.
together.
Yeah.
But and then in Canva, again, like we said, there are so many back to school presentations, all about me presentations that you can go in there and get. And then again, here's the one where we used to introduce ourselves. And then we love Slides Mania. It's another great PowerPoint, but you can also use them for Google Slides. And they have so many great templates in
They
there.
even have like games within Slides Mania. So it's definitely a spot to go check out because they can make any Google Slides or PowerPoint into a game for your students. So they have a great group of templates there. Another one that I would add here too, that we haven't mentioned at all, but definitely throw this in is Jenallee. So we'll type it in the chat for you. Jenallee has great templates as well that are links that you can throw in here into Wakelet. And they let you create presentations. They also let you create games. It really is a great way to be interactive with your students. So definitely check out Jenallee if you haven't had a chance to see that too.
And what's great about these is you can save those as images and put them into your Wakelet so that you have all of that just curated in your Wakelet. I'm putting that in there.
Oh, thank you, Jenny.
And another one, Adobe Spark.
Adobe Spark. And I got one more.
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. We love all of these applications. They have so many great benefits. Another one is Buncee. If you haven't seen Buncee, they have great interactive templates as well, especially if you need to move content on the page simultaneously. That application does that beautifully. So definitely go check out Buncee as well.
And then our last section here is resources. So we have a Wakelet that we made a couple years ago about creating tutorials in Wakelet. So it's a step-by-step tutorial for how to create tutorials. So that is in there for you. And then within the Wakelet resources collection here, I think I put our presentation in here, but then there's a Wakelet blog with back to school ideas. And there's just some great resources from Wakelet, as well as the template spaces in there for you to grab those great templates also. So just hopefully you can get some ideas from here and use the templates that we've shared in Wakelet. I mean, Wakelet's templates are just amazing.
Phenomenal.
So want to make sure that you know that those are available to you. So we would love to see you create some great things and share those out with us on Twitter and whatever social platform you're using. And there have been some great comments. I know everyone's really excited to get the year started, and maybe you've already started, but just think of just ways that you can put your information together. And another one too that is super easy is just a resource for your students of, say we're studying dolphins. So we can go and just get all the YouTube videos, all the websites, everything that we want our students to access. And then that really eliminates them surfing the web for hours, right? And we know they're going to get distracted, but curate that list of resources for your students, and then they have to stay right there, which is great.
And that's such a great way to scaffold that learning for them, especially like we went into second grade and we were helping them research biomes, and being able to curate that those resources for them to where they can still search, but in a smaller space that makes learning or makes finding those resources a little easier than going into a big database where they're like, we don't even know what things to search for. So it's definitely a great way to scaffold that learning for them.
We go back to our presentation.
I
real
sure
quick.
will.
So we have the couple last slides just to close out, and then I think we're going to have a conversation with James and Amy that I'm super
Yay.
excited about. But again, we just want to remind you, we do have a book coming out, and it is called the Microsoft Teams Playbook. So again, we are a Microsoft district, and so we've really worked hard on last year being an opportunity for us to use Teams, first and foremost, hands-on in the trenches with remote learning with our students. And so we used all these partner applications, and Wakelet was just a huge resource for us and just a lifesaver. And we used Adobe Spark and Canva, and all the things that we've mentioned today. But hopefully, maybe it's a resource for you guys that you can check out soon. And again, we just thank you for the opportunity, and we would love to connect with you on all the different places, and we would love to hear from you and just, hear ideas that you have. We learn from you all just as well as we can share information. We love to learn new things. Anytime we can take away something, we can add it to a Wakelet collection and build our takeaways and ideas. So please share with us if you have great ideas or great things that you've done in your classroom. We would love to learn from you all as well. So we thank you again for the opportunity. And don't forget to go and be
a different kind of awesome.
Thanks, guys. And I think we're going to bring James and Amy back. So
yes.
We're not done.
Yeah, well, we're back. Jenny, Silly, thank you so much for sharing your tips and tricks there. The chat is going off, if you can't see in the side there on the second screen that you got. They absolutely loved it, and so did I. I just want to point out the classroom space that you mentioned. I love the idea, having a full space dedicated for your class. All the resources, everything they need, the lesson plans, the resources, materials, everything under one roof, almost like a one-stop shop. So I love that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love.
Oh, go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry. Go.
No, I was just kind of adding to that because I love seeing spaces used. Obviously, you can use it as a sort of collaboration space for your teachers and things like that. But it's kind of like that organization side and tool. So I love seeing it being used as kind of a way to organize those resources and have that sort of space and that hub for loads of really important resources that you can just share out super easy as well. So yeah, I like that you highlighted that.
And we didn't mention this, but we use Canvas in the high school and Teams in elementary, and having a Wakelet space like that makes it really easy just to put that link into either, your LMS, and then it's one spot. I know I go to that link to get all of that information.
Yeah, what I love as well is you're not just curation queens, you're app smashing queens. I love that you embrace that Wakelet can be used along with these different tools and you use it to its fullest. Using it with Canvas, as you mentioned there, slides, Flipgrid. Thank you for showcasing them, because I think a lot of people learn a lot about how they can actually smash their favorite apps with Wakelet too.
That's our favorite.
I think that's what makes Wakelet so powerful, is that I can put anything in it I need to. So I might be creating in Canva, but I can put it here to make it organized and accessible to all my students versus them having to search through, a million links I may give them from different applications. So
awesome. Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing that. And as we said at the start, this will probably be a challenging year, right? And obviously you speak with teachers, I'm sure, every single day as they come back to school. Is there anything that they're kind of worried about? Is there anything that you're seeing as like that'll be challenging for them this year? And do you have any tips for anyone that may be trying to shake those overwhelming feelings?
Well, that's a loaded question.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, we're evaluating every day, with being in COVID and this new wave of stuff coming, places around us are, coming up with remote options again and things like that. So I think, as a teacher, just being prepared and knowing that, and I speak for our district right now, we are fully in person. We do not have a remote option at all. And not to say, not speaking that we will, but, wherever you are, should you be maybe in a similar situation with us, just know that if something was to come up and you had to, I feel like we all kind of have lived that. So we can maybe do that transition quicker than we would have a year ago. But utilizing Wakelet to quickly put all your stuff in there, where your resources are, but just let Wakelet be that platform where, again, you can share out that space or, whatever it is, and you've got your resources there because, and we use Teams, so it works so well sharing those collections in with Teams, and it's in the posts, and we can save things and share things. It's just super easy, but just know that, don't be scared. I know it's just a time when we've learned so much in the past year that I feel like everyone hopefully feels a little more comfortable with technology and resources in general, that maybe it won't be as intimidating as it was in the past.
And I feel like our words of advice would be, take one application and own that. Like, take a deep breath, choose one thing, and then just run with that and own it. And Wakelet is a great option for that, just because, like we mentioned, you can put so many things in it. So you can organize it, you can take PDFs that you have on your computer and put them right into the Wakelet. You can record videos right here inside of Wakelet. It's shared easily with all of your students. So just keeping things as simple as possible for you and your students, so you don't get so overwhelmed that, because a lot of, like you said, we love to app smash. It's our favorite thing.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to. And you can also just keep it very simple and just use Wakelet as your main platform.
Yeah, I always say,
very
because
nice.
we love seeing all of the ways that Wakelet's being used, and there's so many amazing ways that we see with educators using it. But if you are, feeling a little bit overwhelmed with a tool or anything like that, you kind of strip it down and see, why you want to use it and what you want to get out of it, and kind of strip it back to, what you can use it for. And that is that organization purpose, when you sort of take parts of that away with the collaboration, things like that. Wakelet is just a great way for you to organize all of those really important resources. So sort of start, using it that way and then kind of grow from there. I've seen lots of educators say the same thing. They started just organizing their resources and then they brought more tools and things like that in. So I think that's really, really good advice there. And speaking of which, I suppose a lot of educators in the last year or so will have picked up new tools and would have maybe stepped first into the EdTech world that they weren't too familiar with before. For those who are maybe thinking, okay, I'm going back to face-to-face and thinking maybe of ditching those tools, what would you kind of advise or say to them in terms of, stick with it or maybe ditch the tools?
Well, I think it is hard because we hear both thoughts of no more technology. We're going back to paper, pencil, back to what we know, and then we're like, but we've come so far. Don't let go. But I understand that there needs to be that balance. Even my own personal children have said, no, I want the paper, and then some are like, no, I in my own house, I have both. One says, no, I want it online. So, I think just being able to offer our students opportunity, whatever it is, and see how your students learn best, and knowing that we do have these resources. And in our district too, we weren't one-to-one. So not every student, we didn't use devices. And that was always a challenge for us because we would go and share and teachers would say, well, if we had devices, we could do those things. And now we have devices and we just hope that they're going to use bits and pieces where it's necessary. We don't want to ever say it needs to be all day, every day, you have to do that. We just want it to be where it's going to enhance the learning and make it better. So we always say with technology, it needs to be something that you couldn't do otherwise, and produce something like produce a project or produce something for the global community in a way that we couldn't do in the past. We grew up, all of us, with the textbook and that was it. I couldn't click on something, I couldn't interact, but just making sure our students know there's so many opportunities with technology and the benefits that it offers.
And I think it goes back to kind of like even the words you were saying earlier, Amy, of just evaluating my classroom and looking at what my end goal is, and then saying, okay, now what technology, or what am I going to do that? And as I'm putting my lessons together, saying, how can I make this even more powerful for my students? And if technology does that, then we definitely want to use technology in that way to take it somewhere it couldn't go before, something that paper and pencil couldn't do. One of the things that, we've really been helping our teachers with is we use Teams during remote, and now we're in person, and we use it in person totally different than we do remotely. And so, it's not like, oh, we're just done with Teams. It's no, now how does our classroom look? And then why would I use Teams? And, it's just restructuring the way that we look at our classroom. And so just like Jenny mentioned, having that balance is super important. And then evaluating it and then saying, oh, I have experience with that application. I can definitely take it to another level by utilizing that application.
Yeah, I love that. And using it to enhance your teaching and your students' learning. I think that's a takeaway there, because I think when you are looking at tools, you kind of find your why with it. So it's a really important point there.
There's a couple of good comments in the chat, Amy. I want to jump in. Someone mentioned the Wakelet extension. So I think that's a great thing. And we didn't talk about that, but using that to you've got a bunch of tabs open, boom, click that extension and add that to a collection. So that is a super easy tool to use the extension. So thank you for sharing that. As well, there's a few questions about Canva and how to utilize Canva. I would suggest if you go to the canva.com/education, create your account. There is a design school as well in Canva where they have videos that share all kinds of things. We also, I'm going to put another link in here, but we also have some videos on our YouTube show, so you can find us on YouTube, and that we have some good, quick Canva videos.
And
there's
TikTok.
Oh, yeah, TikTok. I'm gonna put another link in the chat as well.
Okay. So we also have a Microsoft course that we created of using Canva and Microsoft together as well. And so we have a good grouping of videos there that will kind of walk you through the whole process. So I bet that's the link she's throwing in there, if I can read her mind. She's nodding, so that's yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I think just in the last 15 minutes, everyone has learned so much. I can see the chat is loving it. And I think just those answers there, you just put everyone's mind at ease with going back to school, whether it is feeling overwhelmed with obviously what's going on in the world, or it is, do I choose this tech tool or that tech tool? As Celia and Jenny mentioned there, pick your why. Look at if it is Wakelet. Wakelet, the good thing about it is it can do pretty much anything, as it's been demonstrated a second ago. So look at what you want to do in your classroom. Do you want to make it a collaborative classroom? Do you want to showcase a newsletter to your parents and increase communication? Whatever it is, pick that and then choose your tool. And like I said, with Wakelet, 9 times out of 10, you'll be able to do it with Wakelet too. But no, Jenny and Celia, thank you so much for sharing your tips, your tricks, your examples, your ideas with the community. I know they've loved it, and I know personally I have as well. So thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome. I love the comment too, where I forget. Let me go back to it. I was adding the other thing that Lydia, I think hopefully I'm saying it right.
We need a Flipgrid video.
She added our space into her new school year collection by using the extension. So that's a great thing to do there.
Yes.
And Celia, you have a request from Sean. He would like to have a how to do a TikTok instructional videos and examples, put a Wakelet collection on that.
I will totally do that. Okay.
So that would be
Sean.
I'd seen that now, and I was like, I want to see that too.
I will have way too much fun with that.
That's a really good one. Yeah, but that's the thing about Celie. She can create a presentation or a video in like no time. Me, I'd be like sitting there at the computer for hours trying to figure it out. But that's her strength. So one thing about us is that, we have really capitalized on our strengths, and she knows that I have certain things that I'll take care of, and she has certain things. And I think that that's, a great thing about, in your classroom too, just knowing the strengths of your students and knowing and you capitalizing on that and grouping your students that way too. And really just getting to know them, and hopefully, Wakelet can help you with that and getting to know them better. But I think in a partnership and a friendship, really supporting each other in your strengths is so important. So Celine makes beautiful, beautiful things.
And Jenny, one of her strengths is arranger, which is not a surprise because she's the curation queen. And so I will create stuff and forget about it, and she'll go and find it and be like, what are you doing with this? I'm like, I don't know, but it was fun. I made it. And then she'll arrange it and make it, where it works for us. But it really did help our team. Our whole team took a Strength Fighters test, and being able to understand my coworkers' strengths and how they operate, why they, react certain ways or do things a certain way. I understand now, that's them. That's who they are in their strength.
And there are things you can do with your students that way too. Go and learn the strengths of your students and why they act the way they do too.
There might be a really good resource for this called the Microsoft Teams Playbook. It's coming out soon. So more about it is in there.
Love that. And I love that you're saying about, using that support around you, because we're advocates for that, because we're part of the community team, and that's what we see our Wakelet community as well. We see such an amazing support system, and I think it's really important to have that around you. And when you're using tools and having these ideas and even things like the templates that we see, we've got our templates available, but I love seeing other educators create them for others as well. It's really nice. It's a really great way of sharing your ideas, as well as kind of giving that support to another educator who may not have the time to put something like that together. So yeah, really love that.
That's awesome. Well, we just appreciate the community so much. So again, I saw the chat. The link was in there, but if you're not a part of the community, definitely join. Just so many great people and educators. And again, that's how we learn, is learning from each other. And, we also have a community of Microsoft educators that we are a teamed up with, and we learn so much from them too. But, the Wakelet community is also, we're in a Flipgrid community, there's all these different communities, and many of them overlap too. But it's just so great because, everyone is dealing with different things, but we can all learn from each other and we can all support each other. And especially in these times when it's just uncertain of what is to be tomorrow, just knowing that we have someone that we can reach out to and ask for help. And feel free, we're on Twitter, we're on, all the places, but if you have a question or need anything, we are definitely here for you.
I think one of my favorites is Brett actually is here. I saw him pop up. He's just in the town over from us. And we actually met, I want to say at a Wakelet, maybe it was the first Wakelet house party. I don't know. We met somewhere. But we've been able to connect online now and have a couple calls back and forth. And that's just so important for both of us, like for us to learn from them and them to learn from us, and, being able to help each other no matter where we are in the world, but we're in the same community. So it's a great way to learn and, grow. Good job.
100%, yeah. And I think there'll be more house parties and meetups with our ambassadors and community in the future as well. Fingers crossed.
I still need to go to one. So yes,
Yes.
Make it happen.
Yes. Well, we thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here today. It's been great. And we've learned so many things and can't wait to connect with all these wonderful people in the chat and go back and, see the things on social media that have been shared.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much. Really appreciate you joining us always and sharing those fantastic ideas and everything. So, we can have a little look through the chat. But for those of you watching also, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking any time to join us and learn a little bit more about Wakelet. So really do appreciate you being here. Also, we'll pop the link to the form that you can fill out for your certificate. So you'll get a certificate of attendance for the session, and we'll share out a collection full of all of the resources that Jenallee here shared as well. So we'll make sure that's all sent out to you. So if you fill out that form, we'll pop that actually in the chat now, and then we'll get that sent out to you. But yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you, Jenallee, for joining us. And we hope to see you all very soon on some future webinars. But for now, we'll say goodbye.
Thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.